There's one issue I wanted to address though with it. There's been a series of movies lately where people start advertising things all the time, and they put this key scene in like the trailer that you'll remember, but then they end up cutting it out of the movie. So I don't know. Like there's some really bad offenders of this, but like I think the worst one was The Invisible. Totally misled you. This one, it was just kind of like a minor funny scene, so I guess it was okay. But there's some movie producers that, or not producers, but marketers that totally advertise the movie completely wrong and lead you to mislead really bad things, like Bridge of Terabithia and Pan's Labyrinth. Those are probably two of the most misleading commercials recently that I remember. So, but anyway, if you guys saw the trailers, saw those movies, you'll know why they're totally not related at all. But anyway, so Dan in Real Life, I want to say, good movie, definitely recommend, worth a watch. Maybe not by yourself, it might seem kind of depressing, but maybe if you want to feel what Steve Carell's character is feeling, could be okay. But other than that, there's this one quote that kind of stood out that I wanted to mention. The quote from Dan in Real Life, he's talking with one of the, I guess, boys that one of his daughters is kind of dating, and they repeat that they're in love and all that fun stuff. But the quote is, "Love is not a feeling, it's an ability." And that really made me think. I'm not really going to go into too deep a discussion right now, but think about that and see what you guys can come up with. You don't have to tell me, but if you want to, that'd be great. But anyway, so Dan in Real Life, thought it was a very good movie, definitely worth a watch, definitely recommend. Alright, and the last movie I want to talk about today is No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men, I don't know why, a lot of people thought it was supposed to be a Western. It's not actually a Western at all. It takes place, I think, late 1970s or early 1980s in Texas. And how this movie opens up is with a couple of deaths. So there's this crazy psycho guy, killer. He pretty much strangles the sheriff that cuffed him with the handcuffs. And then he escapes. And from there basically continues on this crazy killing spree, looking for basically drug money. Now, the part that complicates things really early on is that somebody else finds the Mexicans with the heroin and the dead bodies in, some rural place in Texas where, it's like pretty much the middle of the desert. And he takes the money and, some weapons, of course, and, brings it home. Now, when this crazy psycho killer goes looking for that stuff, he's like, "Where's the money?" So, well, he doesn't really say that. He actually is a fairly calm fellow throughout the film, but I want to say the best word to describe him is crazy psycho, but he's also badass in, the way that he does it. Now, if you've seen movies like this character reminded me of other characters in like Reservoir Dogs or Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. If you watch the movie, you'll understand why. But anyway, pretty much the first half of the movie, it's very solid, fairly entertaining, kind of starts off slow. They have the cinematographic, pan across scenes of desert Texas, and it's alright. A little bit slower than I liked, but other than that, they develop very well. Dialogue's actually very intriguing. It makes you delve deeply into what the characters are thinking, more or less, than, a lot of other movies that I'm used to watching nowadays. I mean, honestly, I think movies are going downhill, but I can see why a lot of people liked No Country for Old Men, which won the Oscar, I think. But anyway, so I digress. No Country for Old Men proceeds on. There's a couple of conflicts, gunfights, not too many, but the 2 or 3 that are in there, pretty good. There's this one point about 3/4 of the way through the movie I was kind of disconcerted about, because I don't want to give anything away, but as you'll see when you're following this specific character near the beginning of the film, you pretty much follow him all the way through, and then all of a sudden there's a jump where you start to follow a different character, and it's just like, what? So, what's going on with the other guy and other people? But anyway, yeah, one of my roommates who had seen the movie before, he brought that up, and I was like, you know what, you're right. So anyway, No Country for Old Men, for the most part, it was pretty good, very well done, dialogue, acting, special effects, everything. up until the end. Now, I've been talking with a lot of people, and a handful of people have told me that they hated this movie. Now, I can understand why I guess they might hate it. I don't think you can judge a movie just by its ending necessarily, but the ending really sets the tone for, how you feel about the movie overall, in my personal opinion. So, No Country for Old Men ends in a not stereotypical, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just, it doesn't end in any normal fashion that most movies that you would expect to end in, a way like this. And I feel that it's very disappointing, the ending of this movie. So, I don't know if you really want to put yourself through the awesome part of this movie and then watch this terrible, disappointing ending, because I feel that it's very, A, anticlimactic, B, almost arguably unrelated. I mean, it's about a character that you see him all throughout the film, but the end, it's just, I don't feel it's like relevant. I mean, and if there's some sort of symbolism or whatever there, it doesn't really stick. It doesn't. I don't see what they're trying to say, if they're trying to say anything. So, needless to say, I want to say No Country for Old Men was good for the most part, and then kind of dropped off right at the end. So, I mean, it's really like only the last 10 minutes that I was really disappointed about. It's a long movie. It's 2 hours. So, but anyway, No Country for Old Men. If you like really violent, unique, or philosophical thinking type movies, might be worth a watch. Definitely recommend for people who liked stuff like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs, with the exception that maybe you should know that it's slower than those two other films. But other than that, for everybody else, it's worth a watch if you like watching new things or it's different. Like, I want to say this film, in relation to most other films, it's weird. Like, if you only watch Hollywood type movies, you're probably not going to be used to this kind of film. But other than that, I mean, you might not like it because it's violent, it's slow paced, and it ends badly. Now, I mean, if I had to watch it again, I might, just because I think I want to try to piece things together. But honestly, I'm not sure if I can get anything else, because it's not like I was woozy or anything. So, No Country for Old Men, I would say it's probably somewhere in the middle. Like, I would personally watch it. It just really depends on the type of person you are. If what I've said has interested you, definitely go watch it. If not, don't worry about it. Just forget about it. So just because everybody else loves it doesn't mean you have to love it too. But anyway, so I think I'm over my time limit now. So anyway, you guys have fun and enjoy the movies.